So let's get back into the assembly building and we'll see with rocket 1 we can do better than that now. We'll see now we've got, where are we? Structural. We can detach this fuel tank, stick in our stack decoupler and reattach the fuel tank, and we'll see now we can start looking at some better staging. We can fire our rocket, and then once the fuel once the fuel's all gone, we can fire the stack decoupler, and that will detach everything from there. You can see the arrows pointing where it will detach. So it will detach everything from there down, leaving just the command pod and the parachute to come down nice and gently to our home planet. So that's the stack decoupler, is very important. We've got the mystery goo, which is handy for science. So we're going to try and attach this. We're going to attach this to the command pod because we're going to want this to survive. We're going to rotate it around a little bit, not that way. So rotate it around like that, not very aerodynamic, but it doesn't really seem to make that much difference. Something like that on a rocket this size. So we're going to play around with some mystery goo on our next flight. We need to add some extra fuel now. We used this fuel tank here before. We've now got a slightly larger fuel tank. You can see this one held liquid fuel of 90 and oxidizer of 110. This one has twice both those values, liquid fuel of 180 and oxidizer of 220. So we're going to detach this engine and swap this out. We're going to put in a larger fuel tank. But I think we'll put a few more on here. Let's say, get this thing right up in the air. Let's go for 4. Yeah, let's go with 4. I don't think we want that rocket. We're going to go with the slightly less powered, slightly lower powered, but easier to control rocket. And the reason we're going to do that is we're going to start trying to use some of these solid fuel boosters. So let's create an extra stage in here somewhere because we haven't got the radial decouplers yet. So I think we'll go here. We'll add another stack decoupler in there. So we've got 2 stages that we can detach. Actually, we're going to need another engine on now. Like that. There we go. So there we go. So we've now got, this is a 2-stage, well, a 3-stage rocket if you include the final stage, the re-entry stage. So then we're going to go with some of these solid fuel boosters and attach these to the side to give us some extra oomph and a bit of extra fuel on the takeoff. We're going to add, how many of these? We'll have, I think we don't want that many. We'll have 3 of these. We'll attach them so that they're below this stacked couple up here. But we'll send them as low as we can. Out there. There we go. It's going to be a little bit unstable. Hopefully it's not a particularly tall rocket, so hopefully that won't make too much of a difference at this stage. Not really much else that we can add to this rocket at this stage. So I think let's just check our staging here. We've got these 3 rockets are going to fire, the solid boosters are going to fire from the start. We want this one to also fire at the beginning, give us the maximum thrust, but these are going to die out very quickly, these solid boosters in this first fuel tank. So then we're going to detach that and at the same time fire this other engine that we put in here. Start to use these 3 fuel tanks and then we can detach and come back down to land once we've had a good flight. So we're going to call this one Rocket 2, another adventurous name. I'll come up with something a bit more adventurous as we go along. But so this is still fairly poorly constructed. But after our first flight attempt, research suggests more fuel means more height. that's true, shall we? Let's see how high we can get this this rocket. Save this. This is rocket 2. Let's send this out. We'll have staging right here. Yep. We've got. I think Jebediah is going to be. Yeah, Jebediah is taking this one again. He's got half courage, half stupidity. The other guys. Bill Kerman's pretty stupid. Bob Kerman's pretty intelligent, but he's not very courageous. I don't think at this stage in the game, I don't think in this version of the game, the courage and stupidity really make a lot, but they affect the faces that you see down in the bottom right hand corner of the pilot, so they can be quite funny to watch sometimes. So here we go. Let's get out to the launch pad with the launch of Rocket 2. There we go. Okay, so still looks a little bit small compared to the size of the launch pad. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll come up with bigger rockets later on that will make this launch pad seem nice and to scale. So again, look at this. We're wobbling around a little bit, as you can see from our nav ball here. That's because these 3 engines didn't quite reach the ground, but hopefully we won't have too many problems from that. So we'll turn on the SAS like we did before, and we will throttle up. I'm not going to go right up to the top with the throttle. I'm going to go for about, what's that, about 80% there, just to save some of the fuel and make sure that these 4 can detach at the same time without giving us too much problem. So, are you ready, Jeb? Yep, looks like Jeb's ready to go. Nice clear skies. I think they're always clear skies here. I don't think they've put any clouds in the game yet, but who knows if they're going to add that later. Let's get our resources up. The electric, we can't really transmit much. I think we did a crew report from the launch pad last time. We'll observe this mystery goo and see what this is doing on the launch pad. Mystery goo observation from the launch pad. The goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. Well, it's goo, so it's not going to be doing much, is it? Data size 10 minutes, scientific value 3, but we only get 40% scientific value. So hopefully what we'll do is if we transmit this, we'll take another reading a little bit later on, get a few more scientific points, and we'll hopefully be able to bring that goo back and get 100% of whatever scientific value we have there. So let's see how much electric we lose transmitting this. Whoa, that's a lot. We only got 80% out, and we've run out of electric, so we need the engine here to recharge our electric to send the rest of that transmission, which means we're taking off with the aerial sticking out. So I hope that doesn't really give us too much problem. But here we go. The launch of Rocket 2. Are we ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, there we go, that's gone. Detach that. Whee! And there goes the other rocket. We're hitting 10,000 meters, so I'm going to do a bit of a gravity turn here to give us some stable SAS. Directly east here, so we're pointing in at this 90-degree point on the nav here. It should take us east, which is the opposite direction to the orbit of the planet. Here we go, we're up in the air, 27,000 metres. There's a space station, the space centre right down there below us. You can see we're just coming out, we've got here an atmosphere meter, we're just coming out of the atmosphere. So if we have a look at our map, we can see here this is the trajectory that we're going to take. Our apoapsis is just going outside 70,000 metres. 70,000 metres is the height of the atmosphere. So I'm going to bring this up, I'm going to cut our engines and let us float up, 93,000 metres. We're going to float up gently now to 93,000 metres with the engines off. Here we go, and look, we're coming out into space, the starry sky. Oh, there's the moon. Maybe we'll get there one day. Land someone on the moon. And what we're going to do is once we reach the apoapsis, which is the highest point in our orbit, which obviously isn't much of an orbit at the moment because it orbits us straight back down into the sea. But once we get near to the apoapsis, we're going to maneuver to push this orbit out and hopefully get us all the way around the planet. 98,000, 92,000. It's important that they both stay outside the atmosphere, but it's estimating a 34-second burn. I'm not sure if we're quite going to have enough fuel for that, but we shall have to see. Just adjusting our aim here to this blue dot here, which is where we need to be targeting for our manoeuvre. So that when we thrust, we're thrusting in the right direction. 34-second burn. We're going to burn. We've got 40 seconds until we reach where we put our manoeuvre. I'm going to burn at about 17 seconds. T minus 17 seconds. So that we do 17 seconds before our target area and 17 seconds after our target area to hopefully even out any strange adjustments that might take. So here we go. Ready? Full throttle. All the way up. Here we go. This is how close we are to the speed we need to be to reach our target. We're going to keep a good eye on our fuel down here in this engine. I think we're just about to have maybe a little bit left to get a little bit left to get us back into the atmosphere. Shut that down. There we go, we did. We got enough fuel left, and we are now, hopefully, let's check the map, get rid of this manoeuvre, and we can see now our trajectory takes us all the way around the planet. So we've got apoapsis of 116,000, periapsis, the lowest point on our orbit, is at 93,000 meters. So we're well outside the atmosphere. If we have a look, where are we? Somewhere here there should be some information about the planet. No, maybe not. Okay, maybe I imagined that. Oh, there we go. Here we go. So this is the information about Kerbin, our home planet. And we can see atmosphere height 70,000 meters. So as long as we stay outside the 70,000 meters, we're going to maintain our orbit. If we dip inside the 70,000 meters, then the atmosphere causes friction and it's going to slow us down, which is going to adjust our orbit, and eventually we would decay right the way back down and re-enter into the atmosphere for a landing. We're going to want to do that, obviously, to get Jebediah back onto terra firma. But for the moment, here we are in orbit around Kerbin. It's very quiet. We're just traveling around to the dark side of the moon, dark side of the planet. So if we have a look here, we can see we're flying high above 93,000 meters above Kerbin, mostly over the water here. We refilled all our electric charge on that launch, which is handy. So let's try and get some reports going here, generate some science. It's going to get quite dark in a minute, and we haven't researched any lights yet. So let's do this while we can see what we're doing. Observe the mystery goo. Here we go. Mystery goo observation. While in space near Kerbin, the goo seems to have clumped into a sphere. It also appears to have become brittle. Interesting. Data size 10 MITs, scientific value 10, so that's quite a lot of science. I'm not going to transmit that because I know that we're only going to get 40% of the science value, and we haven't actually got enough electric charge to be able to transmit the whole thing. So we're just going to keep that data for now. We'll take a crew report while we're up here. Crew report while in space near Kerbin. It seems we are very much in space right now. The sky seems to be mostly below us. Nicely observed there, Jeb. I think you could be right. What's he doing here, though? I think he's just looking out the window. We'll head in there in a moment and see what he can see out the window. So this is 5 MITs, 5 scientific value. We would get 100% if we transmit this, and I think we can actually do that. I think we would get, well, we've got enough energy to be able to do that. And it might be worth us doing that and then taking another crew report and taking that one back with us. Maybe once we're heading down or something like that. So I'm going to do that. Here we go. We're going to transmit this. Aerial pops out. It uses up a big chunk of our electrical charge. I'll tell you what we can do actually while we're in space. We don't need the SAS. So we can turn that off and save a little bit of the energy there. Oh, hi there. We've got another one join the chat. Real Gerard. Hi there. How you doing? You all right? We're going to we're going to do some EVA. We're going to do some spacewalking. You ready for this? Oh, it is getting dark now. I don't want to lose anything, but here we go. Let's go for EVA. Jeb pops out. Here we go. He's clinging on to the side of his crew hatch here. But what we're going to do, we're going to detach him. Let go. Here we go. He's floating around, and we're going to turn on his jetpack. Here we go. So he can float around now, and we can control him. He can have a bit of a fly around. It's getting dark now. Turn around. Say hello, Jeb. No, this way. Ah, no. Look, face that way. And then there we go. Hey, it's Jebediah. How you doing, Jeb? Ooh, hold on a second. Don't lose that rocket. So, Jeb, let's have an EVA report while we're in here. EVA report from space, just above Kerbin's grasslands. Really? I can't see any grass, but there we go. You recorded your observations about the situation. 8 MITs, 8 scientific value. So we're really starting to generate some science now. So this is hopefully going to get us started. We've got to keep this data because he doesn't have any way to transmit from his EVA suit. Come on, right, let's get him back into this goo report that we have here. We're going to keep hold of that, and hopefully that will survive with us into re-entry. And I'll tell you what, we'll take another crew report now. So we get 1.9 for it. I think we got 3 science for it last time, but the more you repeat the same report, the less science you get for that report. So this is in space near Kerbin. You can take different reports from different. You can go to the moon and you can take a report from the moon, or you can fly to other planets and take reports from the planet and generate more science from those. But if you repeat them in the same location or the same sort of area, you lose points. Yeah, it's gone very dark now, isn't it? That with the sun's the other side of the planet now. Night time for Jeb. So we're going to keep this data and keep those science points. Let's have a quick look. I said that we'd have a quick look in the cockpit. So here we go. This is the cockpit view. This is what Jeb can see from inside our very basic one-man cockpit. I don't know what they are. They look a bit disturbing. Hopefully they're water or some kind of food for him. Turn to open. Yeah, don't do that. Well, let's not be turning that. Nice view of space. I think we can rotate round, see what we can see. Not a lot. Well, quite a lot if you consider we're looking at stars, and they're quite big, but not really a lot of interesting stuff. Oh, it's gone black. I'm assuming we're facing the planet now. But there we go. That's the window, and this is his dashboard with all his little lights and buttons and everything. The nav ball there showing us that we're rotating around. I'll tell you what, let's stop this rotation. Doink! Whoops, too far. I'll tell you what, we'll turn on the SAS for that. There we go. We'll level it out. Okay. So, and we can see here, you can't really see where I'm pointing here, but you've got this this clock here that looks like it's saying it's 12:15. This is our altitude from sea level. And then below that, you can't actually see it because it's so dark in this cockpit at the moment, but that's our radar altitude, which tells us how far we are from actual solid land, which is how the parachute knows when to deploy. It always deploys 500 meters above solid land, so that you can slow down enough for a safe landing. So that's what's going on inside the cockpit. Not a lot really. Just about see the hands from his nice orange spacesuit there. So let's head back outside. Here we go. And now it's very dark. We're going to have to spin round if we want to see what we're doing. But let's have a look at our map. You can see this is where are we? This here is the space center where we started. So we've headed about a quarter of the way around the planet now. We're going to come around to our apoapsis in about 8 minutes, but hopefully we'll speed that up before we get there. But when we do get there, we want another maneuver because we're going to want Jeb to come back to dry land. So we're going to want to burn retrograde, which is the opposite direction to which we're traveling, to bring down the periapsis, which is the lowest point on our orbit, so that it comes inside the atmosphere. We're going to be aiming for about, I don't know, about 35,000 meters. That should be enough to sort out a re-entry. So we want to burn periapsis. This maneuver doesn't do anything unless I do it. Ooh, that's going to bring us to 11,000. That's too low. A bit less of a burn. 48. A little bit more. 35, that'll do. 35,334 meters is our target periapsis. So when we get around to there, we'll burn for... Slow it down a little bit. 20 seconds. Okay, let's go back to 1 times. Got 28 seconds. Let's go back and look at our rocket. We can see our rocket now. As we're just coming around to the sunny side. 19 seconds, and as I say, it's going to be a very small burn. This is going to come down really quickly. This is saying how many meters per second we need to knock off of our orbit speed to be able to achieve the target that we want. So here we go, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. I'm going to do it now. Whoa. There we go. Let's see what that did to our orbit. Remove the maneuver. There we go. So the periapsis is at 36,000. That's not too bad. We'll just do a little. There we go. Little bit of a nudge just to bring us under 35,000. That'll just slow us down as we enter the atmosphere, the thicker part of the atmosphere, which is actually about 32,000 meters. That's where you start seeing the re-entry effects, where you see things starting to burn up. We've actually still got a fair bit of fuel left, so we're going to need to dump that so that it doesn't explode in our faces as we touch down. We're probably going to land, I expect we're going to land somewhere about here as this comes round, but we shall see how that goes. It's going to take us 14 minutes at 1 times to get around there, so we're going to speed that up again. we'll see the entry. It won't let me time warp faster than one. Well, it'll cut me back down to 1 times once we hit an altitude of 70,000 meters. So if I come back to our thing, we can see, donk, there we go. We hit 70,000 meters and it slowed me back down to 1 times, because 70,000 meters is the top of the atmosphere around Kerbin. And we can see now this is the planet going by. You see there's slightly different coloured terrain in various different places. Got a few mountains, rivers, things like that. What they've done is they've created biomes, much like you have in Minecraft and other games like that. And those biomes affect how much science you can get from your home planet. So if we were to land on our home planet, we can take a soil sample of each different biome, and that will get us extra points, extra science points that we can spend on research. So that's pretty cool. They're still in the process of adding that. They've added them to Kerbin. I think they've added biomes to the moon and possibly to 1 or 2 of the other stellar entities that we will discover later on. But there's the moon just coming up there. But they'll be adding more of those later on in later versions of this game. As I say, this is only a beta version. So we're coming down now into, we're under 60,000 feet, 60,000 meters rather. What we're going to do, I'm just going to turn us around a little bit, bring us up so that we're kind of facing where we're going. And then we need to dump this extra fuel, which is what this extra decoupler was for. So let's hold ourselves in place there. I'm ready for this. Here we go. There it goes. Now that is going to kind of float behind us, but fortunately it's very unlikely that it's going to actually come back and hit us when we enter the atmosphere, but that'll come down and that'll blow up on impact somewhere, hopefully in the sea, so it doesn't kill any wildlife or anything. And here we are. I'm just going to hide our chat for the moment. Bye guys. Just so that we can see everything that's going on. And here we go. Here come the re-entry effects. You can see it's just catching our goo container in the bottom of our pod now, or the top of our pod really, I suppose, from this direction. So that's pulling us in now. So we should now be able to let go of the. No, we can't. Can't let go of the SAS. Ideally, we want the bottom facing the atmosphere, because this is usually quite well heat treated and it will take less damage from the burning, even though it doesn't actually take damage, but I like to pretend that it does, so that I'm prepared for when they do actually add the damage in. So it's slowing us down nicely. We're still doing just under 1,000 meters per second, which is pretty fast, but as we go through the atmosphere, that's slowing us down. You can see these re-entry effects starting to disappear now. We've slowed down enough. 13,000 meters. I think once we get down to about 10,000, we'll blow the chute. Here we go. No, I'll tell you what, we'll wait till lower than that. We'll wait till about 5,000 meters. Although, where are we here? We're landing, it's a bit hilly, maybe 6,000 meters. Already, well, we're pretty much dropping straight down now. So, oh, there we go. There goes our parachute. Let's zoom out a little bit. And we'll turn the SAS off now, because that parachute's going to keep us going in the direction we want to go. And again, as we reach down to 500 meters, that chute will hopefully deploy without ripping off, and Jebediah will be home safely again. So I hope you've enjoyed this this stream. I plan to be doing a few more of these videos. I don't know how frequently I'll be able to do them, but yeah, as I get time, I'll be doing a few more of these videos, so you can follow me through. I'm not going to play this particular game until I can stream again, so I'll keep this as a separate save game, and you guys can follow the progress of Jebediah and his friends on their Kerbal mission. So our parachute's out at 900 meters, so the ground is probably at about 600 meters here. There's our shadow coming down. That shadow can be really handy for when you've got control over your landing, knowing where you're going to be landing, so you know when to slow yourself down with any engines that you've carried home. But the parachute's going to do all the work for us this time, so it's not important. So coming down nice and gentle, 6.9 meters per second, which is still pretty fast, but this can handle that, and Jeb can handle it. Here we go, Jeb. Big smile. Smile for the camera. No? No? Okay. Meh, not bothered. Meh. Jeb doesn't care. Okay, so we are home. Splash down on... Well, splash down. Land down? Do you splash down on land? I don't know. So while we're here, while we're in this because before we collected some water, so I'm just going to jump out, do some EVA, let go. Again, doesn't really need the suit, but while we're here, we can take another quick EVA report in the highlands. Here we go, Kerbin's highlands, which gets us another few scientific points. So we can keep that, but we can also take a surface sample. Surface sample from Kerbin's highlands. This is dirt and grass and some small rocks. You suspect this isn't going to be much of a groundbreaking discovery. Well, no, you're probably right, but it's some science. There we go, 9 science points, which we're going to keep hold of so that we get all of those. And then back into your pod, Jeb. Grab board. There we go. That information's been stored, and now we can recover our vessel and unlock all those science points. Okay, so 49 science we have in total now. We got the crew report while we were in space near Kerbin, EVA report in space over the grasslands, surface sample from the highlands, EVA report from the highlands, the mystery goo observation while we were in space, that got us 10 science because we brought back the whole thing. And the recovery of the vessel returned from Kerbin's orbit gives us 10 science. Obviously, if we keep sending them into orbit and getting them back, we're not going to keep getting these extra points for recovery. But here we go, 49 science is enough for us to unlock some extra things here. So I did say that we would unlock this survivability so that we can have a look at the new things that are going to pop up here. So it's 15 science, so I'm going to do that. It'll unlock some landing struts and a little engine and another parachute. The landing struts will be handy for lander missions, but here we go. This is important stuff down here. Science tech. And here we have rechargeable battery pack. We have nothing to recharge it with, but this is a battery pack which holds some extra electric charge so that we can send more than one transmission without exhausting our power supply. So that's going to be quite important. That's certainly on longer missions. If we're going to head to the moon, we might want to send more than one report back. We can just pack a load of batteries in there. Science Junior is the here we go. This SC9001 is a cutting-edge, self-contained laboratory. This contains materials and things that we can observe while we're off on our flight, and that's a lot of science can be had there. And then we've got Comms DTS-M1, which is like a little deployable satellite dish, which is pretty cool. That we'll be able to move. However, this research costs 45 science, and after unlocking that, we've only got 34 left. So we can't unlock it just yet. We'll have to run another mission to be able to unlock that. It's quite slow going in these early stages, but once we start getting some more long-range missions going, the science starts pouring in and we can unlock some stuff a bit quicker. Other things that we've unlocked here, we've got the AVR8 winglet, which is a movable winglet, which is handy for stabilising your launch, and also handy when you start looking at space planes later on. Another version of a cockpit, a slightly more aerodynamic cockpit, and also with a little bit more torque on the reaction wheels for the SAS, so that it can turn the rocket a little bit quicker, certainly on launch, but also once you're in space. And then this is very interesting. This is the Stay-Putnik Mark 1. This is modelled off the Sputnik. This is used for unmanned missions, particularly when you're testing rockets and you don't want to risk the lives of your Kerbals. It takes a lot of electric charge to keep this thing going, so you have to pack your ship with lots of batteries, but the Stay-Putnik is very handy for sending out there for things like satellites, or if you're setting up a space station and you don't want to have to leave someone up there all the time. That can be very handy. More useful once you unlock things like solar panels to recharge your batteries, but all the same, it's very cool. And this is a reaction wheel which is designed to give you a bit extra torque if you're using a bigger rocket. So that's all very handy. But again, 45 science, we can't afford it. All of these are 45 science. And they're all quite interesting things. You've got some strut connectors for stability. We've got launch stability enhancers, which is like little cranes that hold you in place before you launch. Another style of radial decoupler, particularly for larger fuel tanks and things, if you want to try and strap a few of those to the side of you. The stack tri decoupler, this is quite cool. It splits your rocket into three so that you can carry three fuel tanks at the same time. So that's quite handy for later missions as well. And then up here, the advanced rocketry, we've got a small kind of a landing engine or an orbit engine for making smaller maneuvers in orbit, and a larger fuel tank, which is twice the size of the one we took before, which is also very handy. But again, 45 science, we can't unlock any of that. We could potentially unlock the stability improvement, but honestly, I'm not really sure. If we remind you, the radial decoupler is quite important. We might need the radial decoupler, so yeah, I am going to unlock that 18 science. So we are definitely going to have to send out another mission before we can unlock any of these. This doesn't unlock any extra tree, any other items in the tree, but there we go. It does give us that radial decoupler, which is going to come in handy. However, for now, I think we're going to leave it there. We've been broadcasting for about an hour and a quarter, I think. So we're gonna call it a day. Oh, the sound went onto the sound there. We're gonna call it a day there. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you've maybe learnt a little bit. You can call yourself a trainee rocket scientist now if you like. You're not, but you can call yourself it. And we're going to come back to our Kerbals here at a later date and carry on, see how far we can send these guys. Maybe start a mission to the moon, get a lander on the moon, and then we can have a look at what's out beyond the moon. So thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and come back next time. Don't forget to subscribe so that you get notifications of when I start to broadcast next time. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and by all means leave a comment. And I shall see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.